Hello, and welcome to Etsy for Business Essentials, brought to you by the Elmhurst Public Library. Today we're going to go over selling on Etsy. It is a great resource to either start a business or expand your already existing brand. You can sell a variety of stuff on their website and even on the go with your smart device. In this program, we will go over some essentials on what you should know about selling on Etsy. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. I have been selling on Etsy for the last 10 years. I sell handmade items made from vintage buttons and found objects. I have put together this program to hopefully help newcomers to Etsy understand and know things that I wish I understood when I first started. What we're going to cover today is creating an account on Etsy, types of goods you can sell on their website, the different types of fees they have, their subscription tiers, platforms on which you can sell on, how to create a good shop name and branding, photography tips, creating descriptions, tags, and other things when you're creating a listing, creating shop policies, customer service, shipping and packaging, how to create an about page, how to price for profit, and we're also going to go over some business tax forms that you will need to fill out and file with the government in order to sell legally online. What can you sell on Etsy? Etsy is best known for a marketplace for handmade goods, but you can also sell other stuff as well. You can sell the following types of items on Etsy: handmade goods, vintage items that are 20 years or older, and crafting supplies. There are some regulations on what you cannot sell on Etsy. Although you can sell a lot of things, these are some of the types of things that are prohibited from being sold, such as drugs, alcohol, and related items that are prohibited. Services such as modifications, rentals, and divinations, and anything else that violates copyright infringement, such as items that have Disney logos on them, or sports logos, or things like that. Reselling is also not allowed on Etsy. This refers to anything handmade that is not designed and made by you. There are regulations on all types of these items you can sell that you should know before starting your business. You can find the link at the bottom of this slide that you can go to that will explain this a lot more. Next, we're going to cover the fees that go into selling an item on Etsy. They are all straightforward and they do not have any hidden fees that are not upfront for you to see. First and foremost is to list an item. It costs 20 cents. Listings are then active for 4 months or until they sell. Once they are sold, there is a transaction fee of 5% of the selling cost of that item. When you do sell an item, this is a standard commission percentage Etsy gets. They also get a payment fee of 3% of the transaction plus an additional 25 cents. And when using electronic payments, such as credit cards or PayPal, they get a percentage plus an extra 20 cents to process the payment. Subscription tiers are different payment tiers you can choose depending on your selling needs. I, for one, for the last 10 years, have been using just their standard. It has no additional monthly fees, and it has everything you need to start, grow, and maintain an Etsy business. If you wanted a little bit more incentive, you can upgrade to Etsy Plus for $10 per month. You get 15 listing credits and $5 credit to advertise your items on Etsy search. You get discounts on packaging and promotional materials and much more. Here's another link that you can go to at the bottom of this slide to learn more about these fees and subscription tiers. Let's go over the platforms that you can use to sell on Etsy. There's a couple of ways. First one is going to be your web browser. You can access a web browser on any computer or smart device with internet by going to www.etsy.com on your web browser. Or you can also use the iOS or Android app. This app is called Sell on Etsy and is available on Apple and Android devices. Although some options are limited from what you can find on the desktop or web browser version, the app does have a lot of things that are great for on-the-go sellers. To access the app, you just need to go to your app store for your device and search for Sell on Etsy. Then download it. You will use the same sign-in as you do on the desktop or web browser version. Let's go over how to create a good shop brand and name. Here, I am going to show you a few different versions in these next couple of slides. This one, we have the illustrator Lisa Roop. She uses her name in her shop name, and her shop is called Lisa Roop Designs. It's a great idea for someone who designs their own goods. Her imagery is a great representation of what you would be purchasing from her in her shop, which are her illustrations. She has in her shop icon a small version of her illustrations and then a larger version for her shop banner as well. When a buyer goes straight to her shop, they know exactly what they're going to be buying. Next, we have vintage seller Liz Tannehill Cook at Vintage Postage Shop. She gets right to the point with her shop name, Vintage Postage Shop. She sells vintage postage. She uses photographs of her stamp collections in her shop banner, and her icon image is a simple design with just the name of her shop. Next, we have Daphne's shop. Daphne's shop is called the High Fiber. She has created a shop icon that is a cotton blossom to correspond with the fact that she sells hand-printed textiles. This is a more subtle branding that with a play on words, but you know for a fact that you are buying fiber from her because she sells hand-printed textiles. Lastly, here's Wilma's branding. She has created a shop name that shows you what she sells. She sells tattoos. They are temporary tattoos, which she also explains in her shop icon. Her shop banner shows off her temporary tattoos on a subject to help the buyers get a feel of how they may look on them. Let's go over photography. There are different types of shots you can include in your listings that will help let the buyers know what they are purchasing. There are 7 different types of shots. First shot is a studio shot. This is typically done on a plain background with plenty of light to show off the details of the item and the item alone. Second, we have the lifestyle shot. This is where it sets up the product in its quote-unquote natural environment or natural habitat. Here you can see this person is selling linen drapes. They have put it into a nice window with lovely lighting to show what it could possibly look like in the buyer's home as well. Next, we have the scale shot. This shot will communicate to the buyer the size of the item. In this picture, you can see that the shot shows the size of the necklace, the length of the chain, so people can see what the length and size of the pendant might look like on their neck as well. Next, we have the detail shot. Detail shots are of the product to show the details from all angles. Here you can see this shop is selling bouquets of flowers in a paper wrap. You can see the details of the flowers. You can see the writing that's on the wrap around the flowers. This is a great example to show the detail of what you are selling. Next, we have the group shot. A group shot is to show your items together. This particular shot is showing the different variations that this shop owner has for these personalized keychains. You can see the different colors of the tassels, the different colors of the rings, and the different colors of the badges with the monograms on them. Next, we have what's called the packaging shot. This is a shot of your item in its packaging. If you send your stuff out in a gift box, Show the gift box. Show how you wrap the item. In this particular image, you can see that these people are selling vintage photographs, and they wrap it nicely and neatly with a beautiful ribbon to complement the photos that are in the package. And lastly, we have the process shot. The process shot shows you, as the creator, making the item that is being sold. Here you can see the gentleman who is selling this painting making the painting. You can have one if you sell jewelry, maybe in the process of making the jewelry, or if you are an illustrator, maybe show your process of designing your illustrations. There are things that you shouldn't be doing with your photography. And this is one of the things that I wish I knew when I first started out. There are 5 common don'ts that are mistakes that people will make with their photography, can easily make shoppers pass their product by. Having low lighting can be one of them, because if it's in low lighting, you can't see the details very well, and a person won't click on a link that has a low lit photo. Using a flash. If you use a flash and you have a reflective surface or a shiny surface on your item, that's going to create a poor, unprofessional looking photo, and people are not going to be clicking on your listing when they find it. Blurry shots. People want to be able to see a sharp, concise photo of what they want to buy. Too much clutter in your image. If you look back at the studio shot that we talked about, where it was a plain background, where it was only focusing on the item itself, you don't want a lot of clutter because it will take away from the item that you're trying to sell. And you want to make sure that there is enough information in the image. If you take a photo of something and there isn't enough information to get across to the buyer, they're not going to click on the link for your listing to possibly even look at it. Just some things to keep in mind. At the bottom of this slide, you will see a link for photography tips. It goes to the seller handbook. The seller handbook is a great resource for everything that we're covering in this slideshow. Next, let's talk about titles. Titles help draw in shoppers. Using keywords make a strong title and help your search engine optimization, or as you can see here, we call it SEO for short. Descriptive titles help shoppers quickly identify items when scanning search results. The first few words in your title are especially important. Shoppers will only see these in search results. You also want to make sure to try and use all of your 140 characters that you're allowed in your title to optimize your searchability. Descriptions are the best way to get across to shoppers what you are selling. When you're making descriptions of your items, think of it as the person can't feel, smell, or try on your items. So a detailed description in your listing is very important. You want to incorporate potential keywords that will answer any questions shoppers have. Include full descriptions of what it's made of, how it smells, how it feels, the dimensions, and a lot more. If it is a good gift idea, maybe include something that lets shoppers know what kind of gift it would be good for as well. Tags. Tags work behind the scenes to help shoppers find relevant items when they are searching for what they want. The power of a keyword increases when it is repeated in both the title and the tags. People typically search for phrases rather than words, so try and come up with phrases to use. Also, make sure you use all 13 of your tags if possible. You want to maximize your visibility in any search related to your items. Shop policies. Make sure to include clear and concise policies on everything a buyer needs to know. These can include policies on shipping, payment options, returns and exchanges, and privacy policies. Having all of this information up front where the buyers can see it and read it before making a purchase will help them trust your shop. One thing to keep in mind with your shop policies is that it is ever evolving. Anytime you come across something that you think other buyers should know, you will probably be including it and updating your shop policies. Customer service is one of the key things for buyers. Having a shop that feels welcoming can draw in potential buyers. Make it feel how you would like to see the shop you would be shopping in if you were the buyer. Consider not only the buyer, but also a possible recipient of the item. Give the buyer trust in your brand by a personal connection like a handwritten note or a coupon code that will possibly bring them back in the future. Be prepared for things that are out of your control though, whether a package gets lost or an item gets broken in transit. Do what you can to make it right and make your customer feel heard. Be willing to be brave to take an occasional loss for the sake of the long-term gain though. Shipping is technically part of the previous topic of customer service. You want to make sure the customer is happy with the speed of them receiving their item, that the item gets to them safely, as well as the price of the shipping. You will want to research what type of materials you will need to ship, not only to make sure your items arrive in one piece and not damaged, but also maybe even a personal packaging with ribbon or a nice box. Some people even add a personal note or coupon code with their orders to entice people to come back for return business. Once you have all of these set, you will need to price your shipping not only competitively, but also to take into account any materials you use, time it takes to package things up, time it takes to go to and from the post office, for example, or any other expenses you may accrue to ship an item out. One good thing about Etsy is they have a built-in shipping portal to help you let your customer know when you ship things out, as well as give you discount prices on postage from USPS or FedEx. They even have a tool to help calculate your shipping price based on how much it weighs and where it is going. You will need to also write up some policies regarding your shipping. These could include things like how long until you ship out a placed order, if an international customer is responsible for duty fees or custom fees, and if you include insurance and some other things like that. If you want to create an about page, it is a good way to show people the person behind your Etsy shop. You can tell them how you started your business, what inspires you, or even your future goals for your Etsy shop. You can include photos of you, your process, your studio or work area, really anything that helps paint a picture to your buyers to help them get to know you. And if you have employees or production partners, you can also give them about pages as well to give the customers a clear and concise view of who you are and who you may be working with as well. This is one of the big parts of running a business on Etsy, and it can make a lot of people pull their hair out. It can be challenging and stressful, but in the end, it can be worth it. When pricing your items, you want to make sure to take into account any and every expense that went into that item. This could be anything from driving to pick up supplies, replacing any tools that needed to be upgraded or replaced, any little thing that made that item possible. Etsy has a formula you can find in the seller's handbook for pricing your items for retail or even wholesale if you get to that point with your shop. You can go based off their formula, or you can take the information from this formula and decide what you think is a fair price. The basic example of their formula is as follows. Materials plus labor plus expenses plus profit equals wholesale price. Then you take the wholesale price and you times it by 2 to get your retail price. There are several different methods to price your items other than the formula, but any way you decide to go, make sure you do not shortchange yourself. If people want to buy your items, they will. Price will not be a factor in the sale about 75% of the time or more. Taxes is one thing a lot of people are unaware of. When running an online business, you are required to be registered as a business with the federal government and also have a sales tax ID, with the state you sell from. To obtain these, you will need to first file a Form SS4 to receive your new Employer Identification Number, or EIN for short. Once you have your EIN, you can then file a Form Reg-1 with your state to receive your sales tax ID number. Depending on the state you live in, you may have to file differently. The best case of action is to follow these steps. 1. Gather vital information like your EIN and other business identifying information. 2. Visit your state's Department of Revenue website. 3. Search or click on the Sales and Use Tax section of the website. 4. Click the link to register business. Every state and website is slightly different, so make sure to get the correct information for the state you are selling in. Until you have both of these numbers, you are technically not allowed to sell online legally. Once you do have this information, you will need to enter it on Etsy under the appropriate location in the settings to start collecting sales tax. But once you do have that, you are set to go and you are ready to start taking orders. So there you have it, the essentials for Etsy for business. From all of us here at the Elmhurst Public Library, thanks for watching. If you are interested in learning more, please check out our upcoming virtual programs for more on business topics and other things as well. If you have any questions, please feel free to email us at reference@elmlib.org. Have a great